Hi, Patrick here. Have Cheetah will view. Glad to be here. uh, we are here for another film review. That's right. We are doing another film review for our 31 days of October. This also will be conjoined by an interview that we'll be doing on September 4th with the cast and the director of the movie we're going to be talking about. And the movie we're talking about today is Dying to Sleep. Dying to Sleep came out in 2023. It was directed by Paris Dillon. It was written by Paris Dillon, Patch Moore, and Manib Rehman, which I think is I think that's a pseudonym for another writer. The film stars. Got to talk about the film stars. It stars Paris Dillon as Joe. It also stars SarahLydia Sophia as Mary. It's her lead actress. Dixon as Dr. Frank Cyrus. Victoria Baldessera as Jen. And a couple of names that we might remember. Dave Sheridan as Manager Nick, and of course Eric Roberts as Dr. Ted Palmer. So the story is as such. After Mary's birthday party, they have a birthday party at the house. Friends and family gather together and to celebrate Mary's birthday. And her brother Joe gets a little tipsy, and while that happens, the family dynamic is a little tense, but it's still loving. And Joe starts heading out, but he's had too much to drink. So of course Mary volunteers to drive him home. And as they're driving, they're talking to each other, and suddenly it looks like what appears to be someone has popped in front of the truck, and they hit what appears to be a young man. Of course, they stop. They stop and to see, did they hit somebody? Were they distracted? But when they get out of the truck, there's no sign of anybody being hit. Nobody. There's no sign. There's no blood. There's no damage to the truck. But Mary is absolutely insistent that she hit somebody. Well, and Joe talks her down, saying, "There's nobody here. There's nothing here. There's no damage to the truck. There's no blood. There's no nothing. It might have been something, but it wasn't a human." So we leave the story right there, and then we see what happens during the past next year of Mary's life. Has been she's been absolutely basically she got a case of PTSD. She has night terrors. She has horrible dreams. She can't sleep. The doctor that she's been going to for her therapist has been doing nothing but just packing her full of narcotics. The family has been really rocked by this pretty bad. Mary can't drive anymore. She's too scared to drive anymore, and of course that causes tension at the house because one parent wants her to drive, and the other parent says don't push her. There's also an underlying fact that Mary is gay, and that causes problems with her mother. Her mother doesn't know how to accept it, though she is trying to. So there's a lot of dynamics going on in the Swanson house. Swanson. She tries, her brother Joe, who's very much a champion, Mary's champion. He recognizes that what's happening to Mary is, as far as her medications go, her seeing her doctor goes, it's not working, and it's just making her worse and worse as she starts to hallucinate during the day. Her being packed on so many medications have caused her to lose her job because she's unable to function. So Joe decides to go with Mary and to see her doctor, Dr. Ted Palmer, who's played by Eric Roberts, and he confronts the doctor about what he's doing to his sister, and he's not liking what he's hearing. So after an encounter there, Joe and everybody starts suggesting to Mary that they look for some different alternatives other than going to Dr. Palmer, who's making a lot of money and basically keeping her drugged to the gills. Her girlfriend, Jen, Mary's girlfriend, Jen, tries to help out as well, walking with her and staying with her and just being there for her. And even when Mary starts seeing visions, she still stays in the fight with her, and that includes seeing a woman. Mary sees one woman who we find out has committed suicide, and that actually did happen. Mary's starting to see different visions now, and so it's starting to really ramp it up. So she's pretty desperate. She's absolutely desperate, and she decides that she's going to take one shot here with a holistic doctor, and then she goes to see Dr. Frank Cyrus, who is excellently played by Dixon. Um, wow, what a performance by this gentleman! I really loved his performance. Dixon, um, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the movie, but I just want to stop here right now and sit there and tell you that this is a beautifully cast film. This really is a beautifully cast film. I loved everybody in the role. Um, Everybody did great. Everybody did great. I mean, you're. This is a very good movie, a very good movie, and a lot of good performances, but I really like Dart Dixon and Mary and SarahLydia, Sophia, who played Mary. I thought those two had great chemistry together. So Mary goes to see Dr. Cyrus, and lo and behold, Dr. Cyrus is able to start helping her, getting her off the medications, doing some holistic techniques, and which is sort of funny that you start noticing though that wow, he's a really good doctor, but his clinic is beaten up. It's not really well maintained, nor are there other patients, and that's sort of like that's the first thing you figure out that something's not quite right here. Um, but they continue to work together, and things go really well. Um, but then all of a sudden, Mary starts seeing this teen boy over and over and over, and at one time she sees him, and he's in a hoodie and he's completely fine. The other time she'll see him and his face is all bloody, and she doesn't seem to understand it, who he is or what he's about. But when she's at Dr. Cyrus's office, Dr. Cyrus tells Mary his story, including how he lost his wife during childbirth of their boy, and but he doesn't have any kids. And when Mary is looking through some family photos, she sees a familiar face looking back at her, and this causes her incredible pain and tension, because it looks like that she may have hit and killed Dr. Cyrus's son. But things are not always as they seem, and we'll leave it right there because there's more to tell, but not from here. Um, I really like this movie quite a bit. I know it's supposed to technically be a horror movie, I guess, but it's not. It's not really a horror movie at all. Um, I saw it more as a study of a bit of a tragedy per se. I mean, I really enjoyed the film. I liked all the performances in it. There are some scenes, you'll see Mary see some visions or whatnot, but in a sense, it's just like how The Sixth Sense wasn't a horror movie. It was more of a mystery. That's what I really saw Dying to Sleep as. It was more of a mystery, a more of an interesting study, between family and undercurrents of the family and what tragedy can do to a family. It can bring up a lot of hidden stresses and secrets. And then when something tragic does happen, they all rise to the surface and takes out everybody involved in it. So there's that aspect of this, and then there's the aspect of Mary trying to get better, and she's also trying to do the right thing. She knows if she feels like if she has hurt somebody, she wants to know about it, and she wants to take the right steps into addressing it. If I did kill a kid, a year ago driving, well, I need to be punished for that. I need to be not well, maybe not necessarily punished, but I need to tell somebody that. I thought the dynamic between Joe and Mary was also really good. It's always good to see brothers and sisters really close. Or you see that brothers and brothers are close, sisters and sisters are close. But it's sort of nice to see in a film where you see the dynamic between the sister and the brother are really close, and they can talk about anything about anyone to each other. And I thought that was a really nice part about this movie as well. Of course, the mystery is the key part. The mystery will keep you on the edge of your toes. It is interesting. Um, um, it is a very interesting story. What I really liked about the cast is the cast could be anybody. It could have been you, me, your neighbor, my neighbor. They look just like ordinary people. They're not. This movie was not cast for Hollywood. It was cast for regular people. I mean, basically, what I'm saying is, there's not a whole bunch of your usual typical, you know, all gussied up pretty girls, or studs, or it just really almost feels like you could actually have filmed it almost like a documentary. It's just beautifully cast, well acted. Um, Eric Roberts was in this. I mean, you the viewer and I, we talked about Eric Roberts many times before. And once again, what can I say? He comes in here, he crushes it. Dr. Palmer is not a nice guy, and we get to see some of that old Eric Roberts fire in his performance. Like, yes, he may be a little older, and there may be snow on the hilltop, but there's still a lot of fire within. And the scene between Dr. Palmer and Joe would definitely convey that. And it was sort of nice seeing Eric Roberts, a little bit of a not so nice guy. It's been a little bit since I've seen him in that, but he still has it, and it was a very good piece of casting. Yeah, he brought it. Uh, like I mentioned before, and it has to be, because I think the one movie that when I was watching this, it really brought to my mind a little bit. It really was. It was probably a cross between The Sixth Sense and The Ghost Whisperer. It was, seeing ghosts, you interacting with them, and then you figure out why they're interacting with you, uh, which is always a good story for me. I always find that the supernatural aspect of it really cool. And what really was interesting about this movie was, honest to heaven, you could have took the language out of the movie. You could have took all the language out because this language does earn an AR rating. But if you would actually taken the language out of this movie could have been a faith-based movie. I think that's probably the one thing that caught me more by surprise than anybody. Talking about tolerance, talking about acceptance, talking about free will. Um, I mean, there was a lot there. A lot of there's the consequences of being close-minded. There's a lot of things that could happen when you shut off people, especially family members who maybe necessarily are trying to reach out to you. I'm not saying that we do that for every family, but sometimes that does happen with families, especially the sensitive subjects such as when a parent learns that their child is gay and how they accept it. Sometimes the dynamic there is the parent will shut down right away, or they'll try conversion therapy or whatnot. Sometimes it takes them a little while to understand what their child is their the free will choice that their child made. Sometimes it takes a little longer for the adult to understand it, and more importantly, to start asking questions, as we see in this film as well. There's a lot of layers to Dying to Sleep, a lot of layers, and one I recommend that you go ahead and you explore. Um, I can't really say much more than that, other than I did like it, and I can't wait to be. By the time you watch this review, we've already talked to the cast and director of the film, and I'll be putting that down below in the description box, so you can go ahead and take a look at that. You can read my review. You can listen to my review while listening or watching the interview that we did with the cast and crew of Dying to Sleep. This can be this film was put out by Glass House Productions. I'll put that down below too. I don't know if we got a hard copy release. That's something I'll ask as well, and I will also make a note of that in the description box. If you want to buy a copy of this film, you certainly can, physical media wise. I will put that information down below. All right. Well, thank you for watching. That's all we got for today. Thanks for watching, and we will see you for the next one. And happy Halloween.